stop the recording at the end. All right, so there it is there. If you'd like to just accept that, and then I'll start. So welcome, thank you for joining. So again, for anybody who just kind of joined a little bit late, I'm Miss Petraccone, and I'm the guidance teacher counselor at 10 of our schools in the West End. And so if you're here tonight, I'm likely your child's guidance teacher. So I am recording this just so that I can repost for parents who are unable to make it tonight. And so I'll start off by saying that this application process that I provide the information for this evening is for the Toronto Catholic District School Board. And I've met with all of the classes already and have told your children that even if they're thinking about applying to public or private, I still strongly suggest that they apply for a Catholic school, not because I'm trying to promote or anything. It's just so that they have a guaranteed spot because priority is given to the Catholic students in the Catholic board. And we are the earliest application anyway. So if they are thinking of public or private, then they will, apply for a Catholic. When they apply for public or private and they get confirmation that they have a spot, it's very simple. Parents, you just have to call the high school and just say, my child no longer needs the spot. And we just ask that you do that as soon as possible so that if there are any wait lists at the high schools that other students are able to get in. Okay. And then I also strongly encourage them that if they were looking at private or public to check their websites, check what their process is because it's different for different boards. It's not the same process as we use. All right. So a couple of important dates that one already passed is when the applications opened. So they opened last Monday on September the 25th. And all that means is that you were able to go and create an account and get into the application. They're not due until November the 3rd. That is the deadline to submit. That is the board deadline to submit. My goal for all of my students is before Halloween. And I'm, in the next week, I am visiting schools, and if students haven't started their application or created that account, I'm trying to get to those students to get them to do that as well. So if you haven't already started, I hope after tonight you can at the very least go in and create your account. That way, if there are any issues with emails or anything like that, we can clear that up. So that we don't wait too long, because sometimes it takes time to update an email and wait for it to roll over into our application process. So if that could be the goal, over the next few days, is everybody goes in and at least creates an account. So the deadline is November 3rd. Specialty program applications will not be accepted at all whatsoever after November the 3rd. But obviously, for regular program, we continue to accept applications throughout the year, but after November 3rd, if they are not in by the deadline, they automatically go into a wait list, and the board or the admissions department does not look at those applications until after all of the students who handed them in on time have been placed. So it's really important to meet that deadline so that your child has the best chance of getting into the school that they need to get in. Okay. Open houses, I have been strongly encouraging students to enter, to go and visit the open houses. There is a list in the Guidance Google Classroom with all of the dates and the links to their websites. So hopefully students get out there, and if they don't, at the very minimum, checking their websites. And I've told students as well, like for social media, a lot of the high schools have a TikTok account. They have an Instagram account that's run by student council. It's a good way for them to get a view of the high schools as well. So these are linked in here. There's a link. So when I share this slideshow, you'll have that link as well. Okay, so first step in the application is creating the account. Now, if you have a child that's in grade 9 to 12 right now, you have an account already. So you can kind of skip this first step. This step is for anybody who does not have a child in the TCDSB high school system. This is the first step that you need to do. So you have to create an account first, and you start by going to the website sexor.tcdsb.org. Again, here's the link in here. You can grab that, on your time. Once you click on there, oh, it's going to click. It's going to take you to this site here. And so those of you who don't have an account, you're going to start on the left-hand side of the screen by clicking on Create SOAR Account. I'm just going to get back into my slideshow because it clicked on the link. Okay, so you'll click on Create Your SOAR Account, and then this will pop up, and the information that goes in here is yours. So mom or dad or guardian of the child who will be applying to high school. So first name, last name, phone number, no need to put a title, and then the email. Sometimes this is the big problem. So the email is the email that the school has on file for you. Okay, so that's the email that you receive school emails from the school. If you're not sure, you can check with the school secretary if you need that email changed. So for example, you can't access it anymore, you don't use it. Again, you have to ask the school secretary to change that in the file. And then you'll have to give it about 24 to 48 hours and then come back in here and do the same thing. First name, last name, phone number, you write your email in twice and you create a password. You click on Create Account. And then what happens is you receive an email that looks like this. And that email will say, thank you for visiting, click here to activate your account. So this blue hyperlink word here, once you click on that word here, you're going to get this popped up, this thing at the bottom here that says account activated. So after you've done that, you've already created your account and you're now at your next step. And then now at this step is everybody else. So if you already have an account, and maybe a lot of you already created, this is where the actual application starts. So we type in the email address, the password you created, and we click sign in. Once you click on sign in, this is what you will see. And you will click on the blue file number. So it'll have a blue file number that's a hyperlink, and then it'll have the child's name. Sorry, I keep losing my track because people keep coming in. Okay, so you click on the blue file number. I've asked students, please do not click on create new student application at the bottom. If you happen to log in and you don't see a file number next to it, I would say to just log out by using the little guy in the top right-hand corner, contact the school secretary and ask or verify what the email address is on file. If you're correct and everything is good, the school secretary will let me know and then I can look into the file, or you can feel free to send me an email as well. Okay, that's also in the Guidance Google Classroom, but I'll throw it in the chat too at the end. Okay, so you click on the file number. Once you click on that, everything is pre-populated for your child. So that means that you do not have to type in any information for your child. Everything is already in here. So it's for this step, for the regular program, it's a super, super simple process. So the first thing it asks is, will your child apply to a TCDSB secondary school? You say yes. The next thing that pops up is the grade. It's already grayed out. It's grade 9. You can't change that. You can't throw them into grade 10. And then the level of study, we have a de-streamed program that's happening for all grade 9 students in September. And so all that means is you and I are used to maybe they applied in academic levels, those of you who went to school in Toronto. That no longer is happening for the grade 9s. So the grade 9s will all go into a de-streamed program, it's called. And that just means that they're in a classroom with all different levels, just like they are right now in elementary school. The only time you will check off locally developed is if the classroom teacher has approached the student to say that they should check off locally developed. Locally developed is a program where the child is working at least 3 to 4 grades below in most of their subjects. So if that's a special circumstance for you, check with the classroom teacher if you're not very sure about your child, and your teacher can give you a recommendation on whether or not they think that your child should be in the locally developed program. Okay. So the next piece is this piece here. It says, please identify the program you would like to apply to. Regular program is already checked off because all students, even if they want to try a specialty program, they all have to apply to regular program. Regular program means My child is just going to high school. They're not trying to do any, advanced programming or arts programming. They're going to go to high school. Okay, so right now I'm going to go through that piece. This is a regular high school application process, and then I can go through the specialties as well. So regular program is already checked off. Here's a little glitch. This button in the bottom right-hand corner that says apply to regular program, and there's the arrow facing right, it's not showing up. So it's a little glitch in the system. So I've told your children, but if they don't remember, you click the back button. So where it says back to student information, you click there, it'll take you back. And then you click back to this page and the button will be there to advance to the next page. I know it's a little bit sticky, but maybe one of these days they're gonna fix it. But they do know about it. The programmers know about it, and they're trying to fix it. Okay. So if the arrow doesn't show up, remember just go back one page, and then click the button will be there when you come back. Okay. So first question. It says the child would like to participate. You need to check off regular program here. This is where they're choosing their schools. None of my schools, so none of the schools that your children attend have the French immersion or extended French program. So even if they are so good in French, they are not eligible to go into the French programs. They could take French all the way to grade 12 and get a French certificate, but they are not able to take those. So make sure the child is not checking off French. So they're checking off regular program, and then they click on the little drop down arrow, and then the list of schools comes up. Here is where it gets a little bit sticky, because for regular program, a student is guaranteed admission if they choose the school that is closest to them. So that is the direction that the admissions department is giving us to say to you. So for example, if I look at this example that's on the screen, this child has an automatic entry to Chaminade, the single gender school, if it's a male, or Dante Alighieri as a co-ed school. Now, if this was a female student, obviously Chaminade wouldn't be the option, but it would be Dante Alighieri would be an automatic entry. If you start moving down the list for regular program, you are decreasing your chances of getting in. And I've had lots of conversations with the students about some of the schools that you will not get in if you put them as, a first choice and you're not in area. So I'm just going to give you a very, very simple example. Marshall McLuhan, which, for this child, if you look, it's 8.5 kilometers away. None of my schools, so none of my 9 schools, and this doesn't go for St. Anne's because it depends where, where your home school is, can get into Marshall unless they go through the advanced placement program. Okay, so that's always a big one. But picking the school closest to the top is where you are safest to go. So you click the school. Next question asks, does your child have a sibling? And if you say yes, it's going to ask you for their name and grade in September. If you say no, that won't pop up. Okay, so you've chosen their first choice school. The next one now is going to ask for a redirection choice. So that means if your child does not get into the first choice school, where would they like to attend? So again, you check off regular program. And then here comes another list of schools now with the next closest schools. So again, you would be choosing the school that is closest to the top of the list, and also understanding that not all students will be guaranteed their redirection either. Because sometimes when a student chooses a redirection, by the time they're redirected, that school is already filled up with all of the students who put them as their first choice. Okay, so for example, I always tell the students Chaminade College would never work as a redirection school because it gets filled up with all of the students who put them as a first place school. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky depending on the elementary school you're attending. All right, so I'm open to any questions at the end if you had specific ones. Okay, so now we've chosen the first choice school, we've chosen a redirection school, and then once we do that, the rest of the application is really just checking to make sure that all of the information that the school has on file for you is correct. So you're really just going through the pages, page by page by page, using the arrow in the bottom right-hand corner all the time. And if there are any changes to contact information, to medical conditions, to anything like that, all of those changes have to be made through the school secretary. Okay, so just a quick call or maybe an email, and those can be corrected. We get to the second last page of the application. It gives you the current school information. And then this is already checked off that you understand that the high school will be, or the elementary school will be sharing information with the high school about your child to prepare them for next year. So that's already checked off, yes. And then the last page is the privacy statement. So you read the privacy statement at the top, you check off, yes, I have read the privacy statement, and then you're submitting the application. So really, the first, for the regular program application, it's super simple. Like I said at the beginning, you're choosing your, you're choosing that the child is going to attend a Toronto Catholic District School Board. You are choosing the regular program. You are choosing the first school. You are choosing the redirection school. And then you're really just checking off that privacy statement and hitting submit. So it's about 6 to 7 steps to get through the regular program application. The specialty program applications are a little bit more involved. And so I'm not going to go in depth, but I'll give you a quick overview of the specialty programs. So there are 3 specialty programs that are offered to the grade 9s this year, and that's the arts. So Cardinal Carter for the arts is the closest for all of my 9 schools. If you are at St. Anne, there might be other regional arts program schools that might be closer for you. And the arts include visual, drama, instrumental, so band, vocal, and dance. So those are the 5 arts. And then there are the 2 programs in the bottom, so the International Baccalaureate and the Congregated Advanced Placement. So the bottom 2 are high academic programs. Students should be working in the 80s, like high 80s to 90s, to be able to even apply for this program, to be able to be successful in grade 9. So these 2 programs on the bottom, there are 3 questions in the application. I'll kind of show you what those are and what is used when they are deciding whether your child is a good fit for the program is the way that they answer the questions. They're grade 7 report cards that are automatically sent. You don't have to do anything. The grade 6 EQAO mark, a teacher reference that is automatically sent by the teacher. And what am I missing? And that's it. And auditions, obviously, for the arts if you're in the arts. There's no more testing to get into any of these programs. But again, they are high academic standards. They both offer advanced placements into some universities. And if these are anything that are interesting to you or your child, highly recommend attending the open houses. But also, in the application itself, there are descriptions of the programs. There's little videos. So I would encourage you to kind of read up on it a little bit more like that. Okay, but the best information is going to come from the high schools that offer it. So in the West, the IB program, St. Basil's has the IB program. For the Congregated Advanced Placement, Marshall McLuhan has that. Father Henry Carr has that. And then if you had any others specific, I don't want to start getting into my list now, but those are what are coming to mind for me on the West End side. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through what the specialty application piece would look like without too much description, and then we'll get into questions. So if, for example, you checked off the Congregated Advanced Placement at the beginning of the application, this page would now be in your application. Again, it gives you a little overview. There is a hyperlink that you can get more information for the advanced placement program. And then it shows you the 6 schools that offer it. Students who are applying to specialty can apply to any school they want. So the close to you doesn't apply for specialty. So if a student wanted to apply to all 6 schools, they can apply to all 6 schools. Of course, taking into consideration that long travel times could get really tough, especially in, it says my meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. I guess we ended our board license. Okay, check off a school, and then this is what the questions would look like. Really, the student should answer these questions, take some time to answer them, proofread them, and then submit them. Same thing for the IB. You choose the schools, you answer the questions, and then same thing for the regional arts. You choose the schools, you choose the art that you are interested in. Cardinal Carter has a video. These are the arts for Cardinal Carter. Remember, I'm sharing this with you. I just want to get to question time, and then I think I can reset the Zoom, but so that's that. At the end, if you're applying to specialty, this automatically gets populated. The principal will know that your child applied to a specialty. They get an email and they will send the referral over to the current classroom teacher, or sometimes it's even the grade 7 teacher to complete. And that's it. You click the submit application. The last thing I just want to say is that if you submit and you're like, oh, we went to the open house, I changed my mind, it's okay. Before the deadline, you can log back in. You can click on the lock button, make your changes, and then making sure that you resubmit the changes after that, okay? If there are any changes after the deadline, we can't make any changes until after January 18th, until all of the students have been placed, okay? So just remembering that. And I think the only thing here that I'm just going to point out is that students, you or parents will get emails for regular program on Friday, January the 12th. If they get into their program, you don't have to do anything. If they don't and there's a redirection and you're not really sure what to do with the redirection, just reach out to me. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the list of students who do get redirected, and I try to connect with them as well. Specialty programs, December 1st or December 8th, parents would receive emails. Parents have to reply to those ones. So it's a yes or a no for specialty programs. If you do not reply for specialty programs, they just assume you're not interested and they'll go off to the next student. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I am going to stop the record. Stop the record.